Time for Shannon reads those books. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm so excited to actually get back to some of my those books-ing. I've actually read several, and then I look back and realize I haven't been reviewing stuff or sharing, so here I am to do just that. And the first one that I'm going to get back to is the 14th book that I read, which is The Little Prince or Le Petit Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I think that's how you say his name. And this actually I read in January. I did talk about it in one of my wrap-ups or weeklies or something or others, but it deserves to be talked about on its own because it is really that good, and it's made lots of the list. It was 88 on the Librarians favorite 100 novels of all time, 180 on the BBC Big Read. I'm surprised it wasn't higher than that. And it was also on the Book Riot Zero to 12 read list. So that's three out of the five lists that I'm tracking for those books. So that's a lot. And there is recently a film that was released. A lot of people were talking about here in Toronto how it really didn't get, or Canada, I think even, that it didn't get enough push behind it, enough publicity, enough runtime. And I think, this is such a wonderful story, and I'm saddened that I think it's come and gone, and I hope to see it in another format when it is available, when it's available for rent or for purchase. So, because I just can't imagine. I just can't wait to see it. But this is one that's funny because it's like the premise. It's like, it's not really about what the premise is about, but what it's about is about a boy that becomes an adult who becomes a pilot, and then he meets a little prince, from another world. And it's so sweet, but it's also has a really strong message. And this is one of those wonderful stories that I think really marries those two things. Because on the surface, it really does sort of feel like a kid's story. And then as you start reading it, it's like, oh wow, this actually has a very strong point of view, specifically on creativity, on love. It is very pro creativity, it is very pro love, and it's pretty con on sort of getting sucked into the day-to-day doing things just for the results, sort of being a bean counter kind of thing, and not living, and that's a point of view, like that's a perspective, and one that I agree with. But it is a very strong message, and yeah, and about being able to see and appreciate and live and not just be all consumed with getting things done. So, I like to get things done. I'm sort of a very balanced right brain person, so I sort of see both sides, but I definitely think the joy of life is in, like I get a lot of joy from order, but a lot of joy from life is from living, is from creating, is from expressing, is from loving. And without that, it's like what's the point of all of this? So I preached to the choir on this one, in terms of the sentiment, and it is very, also the tone of the book, like that's really the message, but the tone of the book is very adventurous, it's very wondrous. It is science fiction technically, but it's more fantastical, because the Little Prince is from another planet, and they talk about going to planets, but in a very sort of kids books kind of way. It's not really about space travel, it's not like that kind of, it's not realistic. Well, depending on your point of view. I don't know. But I'll just leave that there. But yeah, but the tone of it is very wondrous and curious and adventurous, and but it's not totally, you know, it's not rose-colored glasses-ness. There's some, it's amazing how it pairs the reality with this wondrous curiosity, and I find you don't often see that. You very usually go to sort of one or the other, and then the sort of the point of view of the creativity is or wondrousness is often sort of, you know, that's kid stuff kind of thing. And I think that that's a load of crap. Like, I think, you know, that is a valuable, wonderful thing for people of all ages. And I'm really, you know, believe in that. So for me, it really was preaching to the choir here. And I absolutely loved it. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year, probably an all-time favorite. It's hard to say that when it's only been a couple months since I've read it, but I would say it's an all-time favorite because I agree and believe in the sentiment and the message of the book. But the one thing that I would recommend if you read it, and I do recommend you read it, especially all the creative hearts out there, is to make sure that you read an illustrated version. I actually got it from the library and I got it on my Kobo and I downloaded it, and then I don't know why, but I started to read it on the story. I guess I noticed it was illustrated, and I don't think the illustrations translate to my Kobo because I have like a mini and it's really small. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll just check it out, like, you know, in Adobe Digital Editions. And I started reading it, and I just read the whole thing. Like, I couldn't tear myself away. But the illustrations aren't just, you know, an add-on. They're actually very important to the story, and literally illustrate some of the points and perspectives of the story. So there you go. Le Petit Prince, it well earns and deserves all of its lists that it's on. I think it should be higher. You know, if I made my own list, it would be very high. Will I ever make my own list? That is a question for another vlog. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy me getting back to those books journey, and we'll see what's up next. Thanks for watching.